Hello and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered why some of your D&D sessions leave your players buzzing with excitement, talking about every twist and turn for weeks? What if you could create that level of engagement every time you play? Well, today we're unlocking the secret to deepening player engagement through emotional investment using an ancient philosophy that is going to help you reframe this whole challenge and make it so much easier. By knowing your players and crafting irresistible hooks, you can transform your campaigns into unforgettable adventures that will have your players literally talking about them for months, years to come. Let's dive in and discover how you can make your game truly captivating, starting with your next session. Greetings friends and welcome back to the channel. I'm the GM Philosopher, and today we're talking about how to make your game way more engaging for your players, ramping up that engagement to make it the kind of game your players are going to love, that they can't wait to get back to, that they literally can't wait to hear what you're going to say next, like really getting them zoned in, focused, honed in with laser-like vision on your plot, on your characters, on your NPCs, on everything that's going on. And to begin this conversation, I want to visit an ancient philosophy, an ancient Greek aphorism called Know Thyself. This Greek aphorism was famously inscribed at the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. This maxim has been attributed to several sages of antiquity, including Socrates, and has endured as a foundational principle in philosophy. It served as a guiding beacon for those seeking wisdom, urging individuals to engage in deep self-reflection. The significance of Know Thyself lies in its call for self-awareness and understanding one's own nature, strengths, weaknesses, and limitations. In ancient times, this introspection was seen as essential for living a virtuous and balanced life, aligning oneself with the greater order of the cosmos. With that being said, you may be wondering, GM Philosopher, what does this have to do with D&D? I'm not trying to be a philosopher here. I just want to get my players more engaged. Well, by embracing self-knowledge and using this maxim of know thyself, individuals can better understand their place in the world and interact more meaningfully with others. This principle is just as relevant today, reminding us that personal insight is the first step toward growth and meaningful relationships. Now, let's translate this timeless wisdom into the realm of dungeon mastery and running games. As DMs, we can adopt a similar philosophy, know thy players, and it actually translates beautifully, and I've used this many times, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about because I'm going to give you some examples of this. Just as Know Thyself encourages us to understand our own motivations and desires, Know Thy Players urges us to delve into the interests, aspirations, and emotional triggers of the adventurers sitting at our table, and I'm going to explain exactly how to do this. One of the universal principles of running successful TTRPGs is that emotional hooks matter. When players become engaged and they emotionally care deeply about the substance and the subject matter of your game, this will drastically increase their engagement. Emotional investment leads to memorable and impactful gameplay, but creating that emotional investment is a little bit more of a challenge, and that's what I'm going to explain how to do in this video. And here's where the philosophy comes in. Just as Know Thyself encourages introspection, Know Thy Players urges DMs to delve into their players' desires and motivations. And these are really two keywords, desires and motivations. If you can figure out what your players desire and what motivates them, and then you can create hooks based on that, you will have it made. This is the magic ingredient bridging boring campaigns and unengaged players to just incredibly enthralling campaigns with players who literally are addicted to the game and cannot wait to get back to the game table and be super invested in it as it's unfolding. Now, in the past, I have found that there are basically 3 different ways to create these kinds of hooks. The kinds of hooks that are irresistible, that just reel your players in and get them riveted to your game. And the first one is interesting NPCs. I have talked about this at great length on this channel, but I cannot overstate this. The value of a very engaging NPC cannot be overstated. And here's exactly what I mean by this. Let's say that I have a player who's moving along and I'm feeling like, okay, we haven't started the engagement yet. They're not just riveted yet. Okay, the first tactic I'm going to use is I'm going to bring along an NPC to really rope them in and get them interested. Now, one question I'm going to ask before I do this is, what kind of NPC are they looking for? What do I think is needed? What kind of NPC do I think is really going to engage what they care about? And this is individual to the player. I'm going to tailor make, custom create an NPC based on everything I know about that player that they might desire and want in the game. And I'm going to just make it the most perfect NPC. And I'm going to basically tailor make everything from their accent to their race to their class to the kinds of things they care about to their mannerisms to their quirks to their talents and skills. Everything is going to be so perfectly suited to just draw the player in, getting them to be like, whoa, this is so crazy. Who is this person? And basically, I'm going to just make it impossible for them to not want to invite this NPC on the journey with them. They may end up being a romantic interest. They may end up being a sidekick. They may end up being a support character. They might end up being someone who does behind the scenes or even admin or even personal assistant work for the player character. But I'm going to get that player character hooked into the drama of this NPC. And then once an NPC is there, I'm going to start a little NPC drama. This NPC is going to need this player, and the player is going to want to help them because they're already getting invested. And the more they help them and the more they offer aid, the more invested they're going to get. The second most effective way I have found to hook players in and getting them super engaged is with awesome mid-level villains. Now, every campaign generally has a big bad. I'm talking about the mid-level villains. You know, the evil sheriff in the town, or the necromancer who haunts one particular castle, or the local bandit raider gang leader. These mid-level villains offer incredible opportunity for hooking players in and getting them engaged. And here's how you do it. You need to make this villain custom made to just really goad and get one or more of the player characters. A lot of times, my villains will be set up to goad the 2 or 3 player characters who I think need the most engagement increase. So I'll look at the 2 or 3 player characters who seem the least engaged, who I know, all right, it's time to hook them in, it's time to get them addicted to this story arc. And I'll just tailor make a villain who will just get their goat, who will just goad them hopelessly into conflict. This villain will stand for everything these players hate. They will do all the things these players find detestable. They will threaten all of the things that these players hold sacred and valuable. This is an amazing opportunity to get them to really hate and love a villain in your campaign. And you can make this, villain custom made to the players. This is what separates these mid-level villains from the big bad. The big bad is the big bad. He's kind of an ultimate, right? He's the end game boss. These mid-level villains, they're not going to win. Your characters are probably going to defeat them. But the point is that for the duration of that story arc, they will love to hate this villain. They will kind of like him or her, and they will just despise them. They will be driven into a frenzy to want to defeat them. And you do this by literally making this villain do all the wrong things. They will target the people that these players care the most about. They will target the valuables, threaten the valuables that these players care the most about. They will be trying to impose their belief systems onto wide swaths of people, belief systems that these players do not agree with, that they hate, that make these players angry. And the point is to get them so riled up that they cannot help themselves. They must defeat this villain. So that's the second best way I have found to create irresistible hooks and get players really engaged, is with an awesome mid-level villain. Now, when you combine the two together, you get the interesting NPC, and then you make the villain threaten that NPC. It's a magic chef's kiss of a situation to where your players are literally going to be so angry and engaged and wanting vengeance and wanting justice that they will not be able to help themselves. They will be so emotionally invested in your game that they will not be able to rest until justice has been done and things have been set right. Which, of course, you will kind of dally along and delay just long enough to keep it so engaging and frustrating. But then, of course, there will come a payout eventually. And then the third most effective way I found to do this is with engaging plots. You can do a very similar thing with plots. The only thing about plots is that they are a lot more static and they don't have as much malleability and movability and engagement as a living, breathing like NPC. Like, you can tailor make specific plot lines So like maybe treasure, conflicts, maybe monsters, whatever, that you can aim at certain players to really be like, this is exactly what they would be looking for in some kind of quest. But oftentimes even then, the most crucial parts of these quests are the NPCs involved, or the victims, or the enemies, or the monsters, or the living elements of them. Even the treasure, while you can offer like this great reward, there isn't going to be that give and take, that kind of yin and yang, that push and pull of the interactions. So even with this third one, engaging plots, your plot can only engage so much. Without living elements that can bend and flex and be malleable and push and pull like other NPCs or villains, your plots are not alone going to be able to rope the characters in. But having a good, solid plot, custom made to what these players care about, can give you a lot of ammo to help kind of ramp up the engagement. But you're going to need the NPCs, and you're going to need the mid-level villains. That interpersonal stuff, that is really what the game is about. That's what the engagement is about. And of course, to pull all of this off, you really need to understand your players. Know thy players is the maxim here. How do you do this? You pay attention to the things they like. When you notice that characters are paying specific attention, putting their energy into specific things, talking about things they want, you can even engage your players in conversation. After the game, you can say, hey, what did you like about this session? What kinds of things do you like in D&D games in general? Like, tell me about what kind of plot arcs you might like. What kind of character is your character? Tell me about them. When you engage your players like this and you pay attention to what they do and what they say, you will find that there are characters who care more about certain things. There are players who care more about certain types of NPCs, they care more about certain situations. They care more about certain types of villains and arcs. And you're going to find that you will find ingredients in this to put together, to custom build the stuff to throw at them that is going to just hook them in. And then, of course, the art of the hook is important too. To really hook a player emotionally into your game, you need to throw the bait, you need to let them take it, you need to let them taste it, you need to let them experience it for a little while before you yank it back and you cause drama, right? So you want to give them like the opportunity to get to love the thing or hate the thing, if in the case of the villain, or love to hate. You need to give them the taste to really get a feel for how awesome it is. And then you create drama that yanks it, that threatens it, right? That comes between them and it. And then they're going to want to reestablish that connection because that's what they're looking for in the game. And so that is where that engagement comes from. It's kind of like an annoying little problem. It's almost perfect, but there's something in the way. If I could just get that out of the way, and then there keeps being stuff popping up. And so this is part of what makes it meaningful, because they're actually pursuing something they do care about demonstrably, because they have literally experienced it, and you've seen them experience it, and you've seen that they like it, and you've seen that it matters to them. And that's kind of the art of the hook and how you make it work, sort of like fishing, right? When you throw the hook out there with the bait, you let the fish get it and run with it before you hook it, right? So that's what you do with players. You let them take it and run with it before you hook it. And then you got them, and then the drama can ensue. And it is beautiful, beautiful drama. That being said, I do have a couple things to offer you that are going to help you a lot. When it comes to plot arcs, I have an ebook called The Ultimate Plot Randomizer. Download this ebook when you join my email list. Sign up. Link is in the description. When you get your first email, this book will be free in it, and you can easily, instantly, random roll plot arcs on the fly using 4 D100 tables, roll for the hook, the conflict, the conclusion, and even on the wild and wacky table to throw crazy stuff at your characters that you never would have seen coming. You can create plot arcs literally in seconds with this ebook, instantly on the fly. Amazing. So you're going to want to grab this, and you're going to also want to join my Discord. Link is in the description. Jump in there. We're in there all the time. Me and a whole bunch of other awesome GMs, people who follow my channel, people who run games, people who play games. We bounce ideas, we homebrew items, we talk about games. There's even games running in the Discord, so you're going to want to join that as well. And with that being said, that's going to be a wrap. Thank you so much for coming back and watching another one of my videos. I'm here almost every day creating videos about the best game in the world, D&D. So I will see you awesome people on the next one.